Okay.
What?
Breah Knape is the executive director of Actions, and Actions is spelled with a capital S on the end. It's a nonprofit in Brazoria County, which surprised me because I thought it was much, much larger than just our county. Actions provides the hot lunches to senior citizens, along with many other services that Breah will tell us about today. Before the pandemic, I brought Morris up to the senior center 4 days a week when he didn't have a gathering place, and he received a hot, nutritious lunch that was specifically catered to the seniors, so it was appropriate portion size and very low salt. And that was Monday through Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, with Wednesdays he was at gathering place. And it gave him a chance to eat with others in his own age group. And it gave him the socialization and a good hot lunch each day that we were very grateful for. Then the pandemic hit. And now, as I think all of you know, the frozen lunches are delivered here to the house. But he's not the only one receiving frozen lunches. Apparently, there's quite a few. So with that, let me welcome Breah Knape. And Breah, would you tell us a little of your background and how you came to work with Actions?
Sure. Thank you all so much for having me this morning. I'm excited to share what we have going on and see how we can better serve the people who are involved in your organization who may not even know that we exist. I was born and raised in Danbury. My grandparents live in Alvin, and I've just always had a passion for senior citizens. When I tell you that my great-grandma was my best friend, that is not an exaggeration. She lived next door to me from the time she was 2 until she passed away. So that's always been the soft spot in my heart is senior citizens. And so when I graduated college, I graduated at Sam Houston in 2005. And when I came back, I was looking for a place to get plugged in that would benefit the senior citizens in our community. And I found Actions. And so off and on for about 12 years, I was served on the board of directors. And on October the 2nd of 2018, I actually took over the executive director position for the organization. And so that's a little bit of background of how I got involved. Anybody who knows me will tell you that seniors are where my heart is. Even right out of high school, I was trying to get Are You OK programs started in different little communities throughout our county. There's so many rural areas in our county that there just aren't a lot of connection resources available for seniors. And so that's how we got to where we are today.
Now, Breah, you mentioned the Are You OK program. Is that under the Actions umbrella?
It is not, but we do have a program that's very similar that's countywide. So we do reassurance telephone calls for everyone who's on our Homebound Meals program. Prior to COVID, we were making probably about 600 reassurance phone calls a week, I would say on average. We're making well over 1,000 reassurance phone calls now. And so many seniors we've started to see the isolation and the loneliness just really take over quite a few of the seniors that we serve. And so we actually opened a call center where seniors can just call in and visit. They can call and talk about the weather. They can talk about, people walking down the street, down the sidewalk, just someone to communicate with and make that personal connection and know that they're not completely isolated and all alone.
That's a great idea. What is the phone number for seniors to call in?
There are a couple extensions. The one for the north end of the county is 281-756-2750.
281-756.
That's North County. Okay.
That's North County. Central County is 979-864-2750.
874-2650. Very similar.
864-2750. And then the third extension is 979-388-2750. And so we actually have seniors working that call center. So when they call in, they're talking to their peers, someone who can kind of relate to the things that they're going through, and probably tell stories that, you know, that each side of the conversation can relate to, versus someone who's younger that may not be able to really relate to that. I just need a voice on the other end of the line feeling.
Are there limited hours that people can call in, or is that a 24-hour service?
8 to 4.
8 to 4, Monday through Thursday or Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. Is that staffed by your employees or by volunteers?
We actually we're a host agency for a program that helps seniors get back into the workforce after they've been out for a while. And so the people who are working in our office through that program, we've actually put them there, like I said, because I wanted it to be people that they could relate to on a personal level as far as communicating with their peers. So
the people who answer the call are through workforce, where they're putting in, I guess, service hours or something? And you're
it's an on-the-job training type program.
On-the-job training, excellent.
But it's specifically for seniors.
Is that a very popular program?
It seems to be taking on a little extra footing here in Brazoria County. We currently have, I believe, 9 participants in our organization through that program.
Oh, what is the name of that program?
Experience Works is the short version. I can email Jeannette the formal name of that program.
That's interesting. They've been around a long time. How did y'all become the sponsor for it?
That was already kind of established when I got here. We've been partnering with for quite some time now, and so I believe we had, I think, 2 participants when I started, maybe 3, but I think the program itself is incredible. Any opportunities that we can open up for the seniors around our county and give them a place to feel needed and valued, and just give them, you know, a reason to get out of their homes. I want to be a part of that.
That's a big deal right now, with all of us feeling like we're shut in.
I asked because the Gathering Place have had 5 Experience Works employees, and 3 of them went on to become paid employees by us.
I knew that story.
Yeah.
Yes. So other than this food delivery of the hot lunches and this Experience Works chat via telephone service, what other services does Actions provide?
So under normal circumstances, we have 6 congregate centers around the county where seniors can go, like you were talking about just a few minutes ago. You can get a hot meal 5 days a week. There are brain game type activities, dominoes, bingo, puzzles, card games. We try to keep educational material in the centers as we can. You know, the scammers are targeting the senior citizen population at a higher rate than ever. So we try to keep relevant information like that in front of the seniors, trying to keep them encouraged to stay motivated and active, and just kind of, you know, each center is a little bit different. One center has on average about 8 participants. Our largest center, we feed up to 100 people a day. It just kind of depends on where you are in the county. And so their needs and wants are a little bit different in each center. Some of them have more physical activity type programs. Some of them have more craft activities. It really just depends on the seniors who are participating in that particular center. We also have a homebound meals program, which you're all probably very familiar with, which is countywide. And then we provide transportation countywide. So if you would like to participate in a congregate center and you don't have transportation, we pick people up, take them to the center, let them enjoy the activities of the day, and then we load them up and take them back home. But in addition to that, we also have 4 drivers who all they do 7:30 to 4:30, 5 days a week, is pick people up and take them where they need to be if they don't have transportation readily available to them anymore. That could be anything from chemo, radiation. We actually pick a couple people up and take them to work. We get them to work and they get a ride home with a coworker. But if it weren't for us getting them there, their options would be to pay for transportation out of what little bit of money they're making, or not, potentially not even be able to work anymore. Anything medical and non-medical that is considered a necessity, and ladies, the beauty shop is considered a necessity. So
Very
Good.
good. Very good. So
just
if
trying to keep people, you know, as independent and active, involved in their communities for as long as we possibly can. That's
now,
our
how
goal.
did COVID impact these services?
Wow, COVID.
Yes, we have to mention that.
So in August of last year, we were delivering about 2,400 homebound meals a month. In August of 2020, we delivered over 13,000 homebound meals.
Wow.
2,400 changed to 13,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
So all of our seniors who were participating in our congregate setting essentially became homebound. So we weren't serving any congregate meals in August, but we had to roll everyone from the congregate centers to the homebound route. And then of course the need is just growing every day. You know, people who are high risk, which they say all seniors are high risk, but those who have underlying health conditions are at an even greater risk. And so they're calling, getting on the waiting list. We're trying to get them plugged in as quickly as we can. You know, that transportation program that I mentioned, a lot of our seniors depend on us to get them to the food banks because we only serve 5 to 7 meals a week in the frozen meal setting. No one can sustain themselves on that. So the seniors who attend the food banks, if we were their transportation there, if we were their transportation to the grocery store, even to make up the difference, we needed to move quick. And so you know, in the beginning of COVID, the food pantries and food banks were shutting down. They weren't really sure how to respond. We were backing off on transportation because we didn't want to load the van full of seniors. So we actually created a grocery box delivery program where the seniors can call in and ask for the groceries that they need. You know, not everybody, when you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, I mean, we're serving some people in their 90s and 100s. Your dietary needs are different than that of someone who's 45 or 50, you know, who could just go to a food pantry and pick up a random box of groceries. You may not be able to consume things that are high in sodium. You may not be able to consume things that are, you know, harder consistency, such as apples. So we made it where the seniors could call in and they could request specifically what they needed. We also tried to make sure that we have always had access to hand sanitizer, disinfectant spray, toilet paper, paper towels, those things that you couldn't find in the store. We had generous offers come from all over Brazoria County, corporate sponsors, private donors. I mean, this is a program that is absolutely not in our budget. We have zero funding for it and is 100% been supported through today for sure, completely on donations. And so our county has really stepped up for the seniors in Brazoria County.
So with that grocery delivery program, if one of our seniors is out of toilet paper, they can call Actions and say, send some paper, and
Absolutely.
someone will drive it out to them
Absolutely.
at no cost to the
Yes.
recipient. Very
All
good.
of our services are free to seniors, the food, the congregate centers, the transportation. We are in October going to start asking that people be an actual registered Actions client to receive the grocery boxes. Up to October 1, it's been for any senior in Brazoria County. And so we're encouraging the seniors who do need the grocery boxes to call, learn about the congregate centers, figure out which center is closest to you, where you would like to get involved and get connected, and we'll get you signed up for that center, and then we can keep you on the grocery box list.
Excellent. I know in Alvin, for those who received the hot lunch, they had to be registered members of Actions first. What is
Correct.
involved in being a member or being accepted into membership?
You have to reside in Brazoria County and be 60 years old. That's the only requirements. Nothing that we do is income based. The entire premise of our program is to just keep seniors involved and connected in their communities, meet their nutritional needs, and keep your dignity while you're doing it. There's so many studies out there, and y'all are probably all well aware. There's so many studies that show how much better a person does in their own home, in their own environment that they're comfortable in, versus
Versus
in
a
a
nursing home or assisted living and
absolutely.
things like that, as we very well know. Now, you did say that this is free to the seniors, but we know nothing is truly free. Where does the money come from to pay for these meals? Are they USDA, which is provided without cost from the U.S. government? Or
We
through
do not get any USDA funding. We do get a significant amount of Older Americans Act funding. And that is why our program is not income-based. The Older Americans Act says that you must be 60 years old and a citizen of your community, and that immediately qualifies you. So we also get funding from the county. We get some funding through the Department of Agriculture. United Way of Brazoria County is an incredible resource for us. Their partnership is wonderful. And then, of course, those individual donors that I mentioned on about the grocery boxes, we couldn't do it without people in our community wanting to get plugged in and continue to serve the seniors.
It surprises me that you said there's no USDA funds for the meals. Is that something that hasn't been accessed or tried to access in the past? Or
I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm still kind of trying to figure that out. I do know there's some programming available, but we're just kind of exploring our options right now. We're just getting in almost to that 2-year mark. So we're slowly getting to the point where we're trying to reach out more and make more connections.
Jeanette, I think that's because the area agencies on aging, who administer the funds for the Older Americans Act, have done that traditionally and handled the Meals on Wheels programs and the congregational sites since their inception.
We do qualify for some USDA money. It's just a matter of working out the logistics and getting the grant requests and things like that filled out and submitted. So
earlier you mentioned that pre-COVID hot meals were being delivered to homebound seniors also. Was that the same meal that the people were receiving at the senior centers?
I may have misspoken if I said that. My apologies. So prior to COVID, we were still delivering the frozen meals to homebound seniors. Because we serve the whole 1,400 square miles of the county, we have a waiver through the Area Agency on Aging where we're able to serve the frozen meals once a week versus a hot meal every day, because it's just such a huge territory to try to cover.
Logistically impossible. That's right. And to keep food at 160 degrees that it has to be, and yeah, just a nightmare. You mentioned that there are 6 centers. Where are they located?
Pearland, Alvin, Angleton, Lake Jackson, Sweeney, and Brazoria.
Are there any plans of opening more centers? I heard a rumor about one in Manville, possibly.
We're getting there. We were so close before COVID struck. So I'm hoping that we'll have Manville online very soon after the centers reopen. And there's a little bit of discussion going on in the Freeport area also.
Very good. Now, you said when the centers open. What are the plans for the centers opening? I know in Alvin, the senior center has opened on a very limited basis. And so we're anxious to hear when Actions will be welcome there again.
That's the $1 million question.
Okay.
We really don't have a definitive date yet. We're prepared to go into the spring if we have to. We're all, of course, all praying that it doesn't take that long to get us where we need to be, but we're absolutely safety minded, and we're going to make sure that we can open safely for everyone.
Excellent.
And, like I mentioned earlier, we're feeding over 100 people in one center, so that center may come online a little bit slower than the center that feeds 10 people a day. It's just kind of let's watch the numbers, let's listen to the experts and kind of see where we go from here.
Before COVID, there was the big red van driving people around Alvin, and then at times was it the old big blue one? And lately I've seen a white one. Did you buy a new van for handicap accessible transportation?
We did with the generous, with a generous donation from Brazosport Rotary, Angleton Rotary. Their funds combined, we were able to replace the maroon van with a newer wheelchair accessible van. And then if some of you may remember, especially if you're in the Alvin area, we received a grant through Commissioner Cade in the city of Alvin. And so we also have a double wheelchair 15-passenger bus, shuttle bus, that we're able to help use for transportation in the Alvin area as well.
What is a double wheelchair? Is that the
It'll hold
capacity chair?
It'll hold 2 wheelchairs at one time versus your traditional one wheelchair dock. So we're super excited about that, to be able to provide a little more handicap accessible transportation in the north end of the county. And then we do have 2 wheelchair accessible vans in the south end of the county now too. So
Excellent.
our transportation program is growing leaps and bounds as people find out that we can get you to your medical appointments and the grocery store for free. You may have to wait a couple extra days. It's not the same as a taxi service type system, but if you can schedule your appointments ahead of time, you can make those trips for free versus paying by the mile, which adds up when you're on a fixed income.
Yes, yes. Now, if someone is receiving chemo and needs to go on a very regular basis at a set time, how far in advance do you recommend they schedule the driver to pick them up?
As soon as they know that need, they need to go ahead and get them on the books. We actually just signed a lady up yesterday. We confirmed her appointment. She will be having daily radiation for 6 weeks on her face. And so
Wow.
she called us before she picked her time, told us, where can you fit me in that you could pick me up every day? So we were able to be a part of the conversation, and she explained to the facility, they are my transportation. Can you please work with us? And it worked out perfect. So we were able to just kind of plug her into a gap, and we're going to get her going tomorrow, I believe.
Excellent.
Will be her first trip. So.
Does the driver wait on site or go do other runs?
They'll typically drop them off and fill in the space. So, dialysis is a good example. If we happen to pick somebody up and drop them off at dialysis, then our drivers are out running other trips to the grocery store, to the doctor's appointments, whatever in between, while they're on their chair time. And then once their chair time is over, they'll call and say, I'm ready to go, and
That's
it may be a
awesome.
10 or 15 minute wait, but we get by there, pick them up, and get them home.
And do the drivers stay in Brazoria County, or will they go to medical appointments outside of the county?
We're not allowed to leave Brazoria County, unfortunately.
Are there any options for those that might need to go to the medical center or something like that?
There are a lot of things in the works. Right now, it's kind of difficult to find transportation to leave the county.
I see. Very good, very good. Earlier, you had mentioned the wellness calls, and that Actions is not part of that Are You Okay call
Correct.
program. What is the difference with the wellness calls that Actions is making as opposed to the old Are You Okay program?
It's the same concept, really. We just only call the people who are registered for our program. So part of that waiver that allows us to deliver homebound meals once a week requires that we make 2 more contacts with each person throughout the week to make sure they're okay. And so it really is the same premise. It just has a different name.
I see. What is the procedure for if someone doesn't answer the phone on these?
We'll start with their emergency contact. If we don't have any luck there, we have incredible partnerships with the different PDs and the constables' offices, even the sheriff's department around the county, and they'll run a welfare check for us.
So if someone doesn't answer on their 2 calls in the same week as a food delivery, the next step is to contact the whoever is on their emergency contact.
Correct.
So it's important that our seniors be registered with Action so that you have that information.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the next step is to make that call. And who makes those calls? Do you do that, or does the
Our,
driver, or
our employees, we have employees who do it.
they have a set procedure to call next of kin or whoever their person is? Excellent. I was wondering how that would work. What direction do you see Actions going in the future?
I really think our numbers are going to continue to grow the way that they have, because COVID has shined an entirely new light on senior isolation and loneliness.
Yes, that's
you
our
know,
program.
absolutely. It just, to me, the silver lining in COVID is that the younger generations who couldn't really wrap their mind around the concept of senior isolation and loneliness have personally experienced it now, probably 20 or 30 years sooner than they ever would have in the past.
That's right.
They know what it's like to be
Wow.
trapped in your house alone and feel isolated from the world. And so I think that a lot of people who maybe traditionally would not have been a volunteer for a Meals on Wheels type program or been a donor for a Meals on Wheels type program can totally see the value in not only the Meals on Wheels, but the congregate centers. It's not just about going and getting a hot meal. That connection to your peers and that social interaction is crucial for seniors.
Yes,
And
and they love the bingo also, and the Christmas party and the Valentine party.
exactly. I mean, you look forward to that stuff. So, and people are working so much later in life that 20 years ago, where people would have been retiring and at home to be able to take care of their elderly parents, now that's not an option, because people are working until they are elderly now. And it just, things have just kind of shifted. And I think that Actions is prepared to grow and meet that need for the seniors in our county. We try to provide, we have a medical equipment program that we also do. If seniors are in a weird gap, or if they've broken equipment and they're not to the point where Medicare will cover it, you know, what if they're in that 60 to 65 age group and they don't have Medicare yet? We loan out walkers and wheelchairs, hospital beds. We have a couple of those in rotation, shower chairs, but we also have a fan and heater program for seniors throughout the county. So, you know, in the heat of August, when it's 110 degrees outside and you are scared to run your air conditioner because you need to buy the medication that's keeping you alive, what are your options? So we have one bank in the county who donates a little bit of money each year to help us buy window units. And when those are gone, we still have fans that are being donated. You know, hot air is still hot, but at least it's moving.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in the winter, the same thing. People won't run a heater because they want to save money for groceries and medication. And so we have little heaters that are donated each year. Trying to think of any other little
There's
things.
a lot of things under Actions, and I sure thank
There
you for
are.
joining us this morning. Thank you for your time. I think we've all learned a
Absolutely.
lot, and we'll have your interview at our gathering place, Brazoria
Okay.
County website, in just a few days, where people can go back and get the phone numbers that you've given us.
If anybody has any questions or you need to reach out and see if you qualify for services, you can call our office at 979-849-6132. And we also have a Facebook page, and our website is www.actionsinc.org. And if you have a neighbor that you're concerned about, maybe it isn't you that needs help, but you know that you have a neighbor who's in need, we always encourage referrals. We'll reach out to them and just let them know that someone in their community loves them and they're concerned about them, and is there anything that we can do to help? So
Thank you so much. One
Thank
quick
you.
question. Did you get to see Grandma yet?
No.
Oh, I'm
Not
so
yet.
sorry. Okay, I
So
think about
close.
every day with her butterfly pin, and you know, she's one of my heroes. And
So close.
I was just hoping that you were able to visit now that
We
the
talk on the
nursing homes
phone a
are open
lot.
back a little. Okay.
We're talking on the phone a lot, but I just can't get over there in their quote unquote visiting hours for the nursing home. So we'll get there.
Well, we hope that she gets to come home.
Thank you. She will really appreciate to hear that.
We will love the lady there.
Well, y'all have a good day. And again, thank you so much for having me, and let me know if there's anything that Actions can do for you.
Thanks
Thank
again.
you.
Thank you.